I'm sure you've heard me talk about 26shirts.com before, but just in case you haven't, let me fill you in. At 26 Shirts, they sell different limited edition sports-themed t-shirts every 2 weeks. After a shirt's prospective 2-week run is over, the design is retired and never sold again. They are operating out of Buffalo and now also offer options in Chicago. For every shirt sold, $8 is donated to a family in need. Not to a major charity or foundation, but to an actual family or individual in need. To show our support here at Chasing Cinema, when you buy a shirt, we will automatically put you into a drawing to win the next shirt free. That's right. You buy a shirt, $8 goes to help a family or individual in need, and you get a shot to win the next shirt absolutely free from Chasing Cinema. So go to www.26shirts.com and buy a unique Buffalo Sports Design t-shirt, help a great cause, and also get entered to win the next shirt absolutely free. Again, that's 26shirts.com, because you have the ability to help a complete stranger just because it's the right thing to do. www.26shirts.com. Help someone now. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to ChasingCinema.com's official YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jacob Tiranno, and today we're going to be talking about a lot of things, including the Hateful Eight trailer, which made its debut today, as well as the first look at Black Panther's costume in Captain America Civil War. Later, I'm also going to be talking about the Star Wars International teaser that aired a few days ago, as well as the Entertainment Weekly's images that they recently revealed today. First things first, though, let's talk about the Hateful Eight trailer, which made its debut today. Now, if you've not seen that trailer, make sure to click the link in the description box, or you can click right here. Quentin Tarantino, a polarizing director, is someone that most people tend to enjoy, but those who are against violence and profanity are obviously not on the same page. However, my taste for Quentin Tarantino differs from most people. Obviously, when people say Quentin Tarantino, names like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs come up in conversation. Now, granted, I enjoy those movies, but I find myself enjoying Quentin Tarantino in his later years. Inglourious Basterds, I think, is the best thing he's directed up until this point. I loved Django Unchained. I love the Western style of it. That was probably... Actually, I chose that as my favorite movie of 2012. Well, one of them. And then we have The Hateful Eight coming out. A movie that will be the second in 3 Westerns that Quentin Tarantino directed. The first, obviously, being Django. The second being The Hateful Eight. And the third one we'll find out more about later. But Quentin Tarantino has said you have to direct 3 in order to, consider yourself a Western director. Now, this movie is going to be hitting theaters on Christmas Day in 70mm capable theaters. Now, that's not something we're going to find often. Most theaters now have removed film projectors and put in digital projectors. But it will be really interesting to see this movie on film. Quentin Tarantino, obviously a pioneer in making sure that film preservation is a big thing. Continues to shoot on film, loves the way film looks, and has defended the film versus digital argument for a long time. Let's get into the trailer nonetheless. So, this movie is going to be surrounding 8 strangers who are stuck in a cabin during a monstrous blizzard that's going down. The movie stars Kurt Russell, Sam Jackson, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Bruce Dern, Channing Tatum, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, Bruce Dern, if I haven't said that already. So quite an interesting cast. My first go-to in that list is we have our Quentin Tarantino regulars, Jackson, we have Roth, we have Madsen, we have Dern. And then we have some interesting characters. We have Channing Tatum, Kurt Russell, Jennifer Jason Leigh. So I'm really expecting a lot out of this movie, and I've been waiting for the trailer. Boom! Trailer hits today, and I have to tell you, I've watched it multiple times already because of how fun the trailer is. I think this trailer is so good and so fun to watch that it makes me so excited for the movie. Now, prior to this year, when I started doing these video updates, I never watched trailers. I always try to go in things blind because sometimes they reveal a little bit too much. However, this was one of those trailers that will probably end up on my list for favorite trailers of the year at the end of the year when we do Chasing Cinema Awards. I had just so much fun watching it. The music was great. The editing was great. Our introduction to all the characters was really fun. I loved the beginning when we have Sam Jackson talking about Kurt Russell, who's nicknamed the Hangman, and why he's named the Hangman. I love the setting of the movie. I love the whole snowy wonderland, if you will. Well, not wonderland, more like, complete miserable land for these characters, I guess you could say. But I think there's something really spectacular about this movie. I think it's going to be a real great picture. Not to mention that one of the things that I'm looking forward to is the score, which offers the first score, Western score from Ennio Morricone in 40 years, I believe. I could be getting that number wrong, but I know it's been some time. Quentin Tarantino revealed, I think around Comic-Con, that this composer, who's the greatest Western composer of all time, will be working on this picture. So I'm really excited for the film's look, the film's sound, the film's performances. I mean, this movie's going to really kind of fall on the shoulders of the actors, as the movie's just basically about these 8 strangers interacting. So nonetheless, I am looking forward to this movie, but what are your thoughts? Watching this trailer, how do you feel about The Hateful Eight? Now, if we go back, there's a lot of history with this movie as well. This was a movie that Quentin Tarantino wanted to do. However, after the script was leaked, he said, no, I'm not going to do it at all. They had a table read. There was talk of him releasing it just as a script or a graphic novel, I believe, at one point. I could be wrong about that. But nonetheless, he decided, anyway, this is my 8th film. I'm going to do it regardless. So now he is making this movie, and I, for one, am truly excited to see it. What are your thoughts? Let me know down here in the comment sections below. I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say about this trailer. Next, we're going to be talking about Black Panther, a character that we know will be first introduced to the Marvel Universe in the upcoming Captain America Civil War, the first film in Marvel's Phase 3. Right now, Captain America Civil War is filming in Germany, nonetheless. And while there was filming, some photos revealed online the first look at Black Panther's costume. Now, to me, I think the Black Panther costume looks beautiful. We've had some sketches and some ideas of what the costume is going to look like already, but finally seeing it in action, it looks quite spectacular. Now, the costume actually looks all like one piece, all black. It looks like, though, a bit unfinished. Maybe they're going to insert some things digitally. They might have to add some things. It could just be in an action sequence, but with the cat ears and everything, it actually looks like a really good piece. I'm excited for the introduction of this character because I really want to see the expansion of the Marvel Universe go beyond the more common superheroes and go to the superheroes that maybe your average Joe won't know. And I think Black Panther is a perfect example. If you remember the animated movies, The Ultimate Avengers, the sequel, I believe, was the one that featured Black Panther, which I thought was awesome and very entertaining. So I'm glad to see Chadwick Boseman taking the reins for this. However, it is just a few images of him. It's not even Chadwick in the costume. I believe it's a stunt double. Just a few images of him kind of doing a stunt in Germany. So nothing too crazy, but these images are exciting. I think they look well. I'm definitely excited to see more from this set. Well, actually, I'd rather just wait to the movie, but I'm sure we're going to get more stuff from the set. If you're interested in seeing the first look of the Black Panther costume, make sure to click the link down here in the description box and let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Finally, moving on to Star Wars. Today I'm going to be talking about the Star Wars International trailer, or, well, not so much trailer, but TV spot. There was a 30-second Korean spot for Star Wars The Force Awakens that has kind of gotten a lot of people talking. Now, this 30-second Korean spot revealed pretty much awesome stuff that we've seen already. However, there was something amongst that familiar footage that really stood out. In the beginning, we have this snowy, rocky terrain that we find ourselves in. And amongst them are thousands of stormtroopers and officers grouped together before a lone person. And that, my friends, is the First Order. Now, if you've not seen this spot, make sure to click the description box. You'll find all the links for everything that I'm talking about today. If you actually want to watch this trailer, you could click right here. I know I like doing that. I don't know why. I just think it's so cool. This is something that I thought was really cool. I know it's kind of a couple days old now, but really kind of finding out about the First Order and reading about the interviews and what J.J. Abrams has been saying is giving us a lot more information about what this movie is going to be about. Now, amongst this trailer comes 12 exclusive photos from Entertainment Weekly, which were published today. Now, some of these photos look fairly familiar, including the Han Solo and Chewie image that we've seen at the end of the Force Awakens trailer. But my whole concentration on the other images that we really haven't seen, including my favorite, the cover of the Entertainment Weekly, which was Kylo Ren, who's played by Adam Driver, and he's striking his pose with his epic lightsaber. I love this image. I love the look of him. I think it is such a beautiful picture and ideally a perfect villain to look at. And I'm really, really excited to see some of these people in action. Another image reveals Daisy Ridley's Rey and John Boyega's runaway stormtrooper Finn flee from the First Order. They're running away, as you could see. Looks like a very, very great action beat in this part as they are running from the First Order. We also have John Boyega, who's playing Finn again, runs into kind of a destroyed, wrecked TIE fighter. And this image is really well, just kind of looking at him, observing this destroyed TIE fighter. And also a really, really great image, something we've not seen yet. There's also one of Gwendolyn Christie's character from the First Order, who's just in like this shimmering armor that looks also very, very fun. I'm interested to learn more about that character and seeing which more she has to offer. Amongst that, we also have, again, Daisy Ridley's Rey, who meets up with BB-8 while cutting him free from a net, and she's amongst some creature, and I'm interested to see what that creature is. I have no idea or who's on top of it, but I am interested in finding out more about that. That picture's also really cool. But one that really, really got people excited was one from Domhnall Gleeson, who will be playing General Hux, and he's one of the leaders from the First Order. And this image was briefly shown at Comic-Con, and it wasn't released until now, and I have to tell you that I just look at him, Gleason, in a total different light in this picture. Usually he plays the nerdy, shy, kind of recluse character, and seeing him in this really kind of gives him this feel of darkness, but you also could tell that he has a lot of things to prove. And, you know, as we're kind of finding out about his character, he really wants to show the galaxy what he has to offer. So all those images are really great. If you want to look at them more detailed, you could always, of course, check them out on entertainmentweekly.com. You can click the link in the description box or right here. I switched it up. Did you guys like that? I did. That's going to wrap it up for today's movie news update. Guys, I'm Jacob Tiranno. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Remember, if you want to check out the trailer for The Hateful Eight or the 30-second spot from Star Wars The Force Awakens, or these photos that I've just been talking about, go to the description box. You could find all of them there. Or, of course, you could go to ChasingCinema.com, the hub of everything that we do, and read our reviews. You could check out our podcast, all of our videos, and much, much more. Also, guys, please do not forget to hit that subscribe button. That is the most important thing you could do all day, because I don't ever want you to be out of the loop and not know what's going on in the world of motion picture. And every single day, I'm bringing you an update to make sure you're up to date.
What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square with Chasing Cinema.
James Shoot.
.com, and tonight we have two movies, Straight Outta Compton and The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yes.
If you haven't seen our review on Straight Outta Compton, it's already online. Check it out right now.
Right.
So now let's talk about Superman himself.
Yes, Henry Cavill, or Cavill, whichever one suits your fancy, is going to be starring amongst Armie Hammer, another great actor that doesn't get his name thrown out there very often, in a movie that is based off of a show. Now, it's really, really funny that 2 weeks ago, you saw Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, a spy movie that's based off a television show from the late 60s. Well, guys, guess what The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is? It's a spy movie based off a television show from the late 60s that followed the same same type of plot that this movie has. A KGB operative and a CIA agent who are forced to work together in 1960s during the Cold War. So when Soviet and America were kind of like, hey. So we have Alicia Vikander going in this movie, who came off of an amazing performance in Ex Machina. I loved her in that movie. I think she was the star. As great as Domhnall Gleeson and Oscar Isaac were, both of those are going to be in the upcoming Star Wars movie. If you haven't seen those photos, you could check them out in our last video. We talked about that
on youtube.com/Chasing
Cinema. I forgot. But Alicia totally outstumped them all. She was phenomenal in that role.
Love that.
So all these three, all these three are going to be in this
reminding
spy
us men
thriller.
why we're so stupid.
Now, before we go into this movie, though, I have to say I did go see Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation, and I loved it. Just like James, I thought it was an absolute blast. So it's pretty awesome that this year we're getting Mission Impossible, Man from U.N.C.L.E., and
Spectre.
Yeah, Spectre. All these spy movies. So hopefully this spy train is going up instead of down. So we'll see.
How long is the movie?
It's about 2 hours.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in straight out of Compton.
All right, and I'll go jump in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
All right, so we just got out of our respected movies.
Yes, we just reviewed Straight Outta Compton. If you haven't seen that yet, make sure to go check it out. It's on our YouTube page.
No need to wait.
No.
But before you do that, we're talking about The Man from
U.N.C.L.E. So this movie comes from Guy Ritchie, a very, very well-known director, gritty action type stuff, very stylish, and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. When I think of we're going to play a little game here. When I think of a spy movie, what words come to mind? Guns,
trickery,
action,
nice little toys,
gadgets.
Yeah, gadgets. That's the term.
Cars. Fun. Great movie. I think about Mission Impossible. We had all those gadgets. We had a lot of fun, a lot of action. Words that don't usually come to mind are boring and empty, but unfortunately, those are going to be the only words that I could really associate with this movie. I'm going to get a little bit off topic here, kind of, but during this movie, I sat back in my chair about 40 minutes in, and I realized that I had forgotten my watch. And that's very, very rare because I don't ever forget my watch. I wear it every single day. And the reason why I know I forgot it was because I was looking to see how much longer I had to sit through this movie. I was so shocked by how boring it was. Just totally. The action was off. This movie was all style and no substance. There was nothing to it. It was all sizzle, no steak. Sitting through this movie that should be fun, that should have a lot of action, really delivers none of it. I was so bored. Thank God for Coca-Cola, because if I didn't have my Coke, I don't know what I would have done during this movie. It was like the most entertaining part about the movie.
What's your Coke?
What?
Where's your Coke?
Was my Coke. Thank goodness for it, because let me tell you, I probably would have dozed off. And I really hate to say that, because this should have been a really, really fun movie. You hear these two names, really at the top of their game right now. You have a spy movie. We should be having a lot of fun. We have this okay action beat in the beginning, and then it just all goes downhill from there. Another great aspect of any spy movie is the villain. We need a great villain. This villain, this whole movie is forgettable. There's not a memorable moment. I was really, really just kind of disappointed. All the cool kids say white bread, but that's the perfect way to describe the villain.
Just Superman.
Total bland. No one really gave a good performance. The characters weren't interesting. The story wasn't interesting. Henry Cavill in particular spoke with this vernacular, this rhythm, and it was distracting and annoying more than enjoyable. He was trying to go for this real uppity, he wore a suit and tie everywhere and spoke really sophisticated, but it was so sophisticated it seemed like he was in a theater play, because if you go see something in theater, it's a lot more emphasized, and it just was like, wait, calm down. But Armie Hammer with his accent, everything, just nothing seemed
Russian,
to really
right?
work in this movie.
It was a Russian accent?
Yeah, Soviet, yeah. But his accent was just like, what is going on right now? Just very, very off. Nothing really seemed to kind of gel or work together. Vikander was there. She didn't give us anything either. But this is one of those situations similar to Fantastic Four, where I can't put much blame on the actors. I just don't think they had a lot to work with here. Like I said, and you would think that, Guy Ritchie being so stylish, that he would deliver some really interesting style to it. And there's a point towards the end of the movie where they just start skipping the action and they just start using montages and stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, what? We're gonna skip. You made us sit through an hour and a half of no action, and we're gonna get to action, and we're gonna skip it now. And it's about nuclear bombs and all that's just goofy, like silly nonsense.
So, did you consider the movie campy?
No. Because I like campy sometimes, if it's done right. No, this movie honestly was boring. It was just it was a big miss. It was a really, really big miss. And, if I thought there was an action beat worth seeing, or if there was a performance, I would tell you guys. But really, I struggled so bad to write my review because I could not remember certain things from this movie. I remember very few parts because it is so forgettable. I mean, I left Mission Impossible Rogue Nation the other day, and I was humming the theme song. I was all pumped up. I hummed the theme song. I mean, after this movie, I was so concentrated on what went wrong that I don't even remember what happened. But I think the most coincidental thing was that this movie is called The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And uncle was a word that I kept screaming in this movie. I was like, please stop, uncle, uncle, uncle. I was just begging for it to stop. It brought me back to the day when I was being put in the sharpshooter by one of my brothers, and I was just like, stop, please, uncle. That's how I felt watching this movie, just tapping out. Exactly. I wish I had something else nice to say about this movie, and I'm not trying to be mean because it wasn't like the travesty worst thing I've ever seen, but it was one of those movies that...
What was better, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. or Fantastic Four?
Oh, God. That's a tough one.
Which one's better?
Which one's better? I would... Oof, God. Personally, I think I'd be able to sit through Fantastic Four one more time, if I had to, over The Man from U.N.C.L.E., just because there was at least moments of Fantastic Four I was like, okay, I liked. But it's so funny because I watched our review from Fantastic Four, and throughout the week I've just been like, man, this is bothering me still, and that's bothering me. There's so much more that still bugs me about that movie. But, yeah, but very, very slimly. I gave Fantastic Four a 1. I gave this movie a 1 as well. Fantastic Four would be a 1.1 if I had to,
It's bad because Henry Cavill at least has Superman.
Yes.
And that's always going to make money?
Yes.
100%?
Yes.
No matter what happens with any side projects he does. But Armie Hammer.
Well, I mean...
He was supposed to be Batman.
And he's really talented too. I
didn't even know in Social Network
that he wasn't a twin. Oh,
yeah, I thought it was twins.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Too. No, I did too.
I thought that's CG, or it was considered CG.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that work was so good. I didn't even know.
It was very, very well made.
I thought those were two separate guys.
But the thing though is everyone talks about Armie Hammer's performance in The Social Network. I'm trying to think of now another performance of his that I really liked, but I can't. So obviously everyone's still kind of going back to, he was really good in Social Network though, So he's got to make something. I think
the last movie I even seen him in was the Leonardo DiCaprio one, the president.
J. Edgar Hoover.
The gay president, yeah.
Yeah, J. Edgar. Yeah, and that was not good either. No. It was okay.
No, it wasn't good. And I love Leonardo DiCaprio, but it wasn't.
It was okay.
I was with Ken in that one.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I would go see a movie... Okay, well, no, that's not true. But it's easier to see a movie that I hate, because then I'm like, all right, this, and this. When this is one of those movies, you're like... I don't remember. I don't got anything to say about it. It was boring. It was straight up boring.
All right.
And that's very, very rare for me to just kind of say, but it was.
ChasingCinema.com/
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
And then you can get the full-on written review written by
myself,
Jacob R. Tiranno. Find out the details. You can read my
Straight Outta Compton review while you're there.
Already online.
Maybe.
Right now.
Well, sir, next week we're going to have very opposite movie. Well, very opposite movie.
Agent 47.
Agent 47.
They're going to give it another go.
Movie. Well, I mean, do you consider Agent 47 is not a spy movie, no?
Nah, I think it's just straight up action killer.
Straight up action killer. Well, you have that, and then you have American Ultra, which is like
Lex Luthor himself.
Yes, Kristen Stewart, and you have basically
Twilight herself.
The Bourne movie with a pothead, which I think is a really interesting premise.
I'll be watching Agent 47.
Why? I'm interested to know. Come on, he's in the 7-Eleven. He's I don't know what 7-Eleven employees do, but they're cleaning the Slurpee machine, and I don't mean that in a degrading way, and then all of a sudden he could just kill people. And that's pretty I don't
know. I guess
you got to get
the trailers haven't appealed to me,
but this guy, is going to be
Lex Luthor.
Yes,
absolutely.
You got to be prepared for that. So
I have seen. I loved him in
Social Network.
I loved him in Social Network. I loved him in. What's that movie where he's the zombies? Zombieland. Loved him in Zombieland.
He's good in Rio. I believe Rio is the animated film he's in.
He's good in that Magic one.
Now You See Me. Loved him in Now You See Me.
I've never seen Now You See Me still.
I loved it. Get ready, part 2's about to come out. They finished filming already.
Did you ever see the interview with him and that girl?
Kristen Stewart, and they do each other's...
No. Him, no. Jesse Eisenberg and, like, some newbie interviewer, and she's like, you're wasting our time, or whatever, and they have, like, this really awkward interview, one of the most awkward interviews ever, because he's supposed to be... I'll have to send you the video. He's supposed to be, like, this really awkward person. No, he wasn't at CinemaCon. I was going to say he was for some reason, but he wasn't.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyway, next week. And then Sinister 2 for all the horror fans.
A lot of horror fans.
Yes, a lot of horror fans. Haven't been hearing much about that, though. So,
no, you haven't, actually.
No. But next week definitely seems like it's going to be a slower week. So,
all right.
It seems we are exiting the summer movie season.
We'll be back in 7 days, regardless of how many people are here. You and I and Mr. Wong will be here.
Always. So make sure you join us, because no matter what we're watching, we always have a great time.
By the way. All right, and everyone that does not know, ChasingCinema.com is known as
the Film Lovers website.
What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square with Chasing Cinema.
James Shue, how are you, good sir?
.com, and we're here for 2 movies today.
Yes, 2 completely different movies by the look of it.
100%.
We have Straight Outta Compton and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about Straight Outta Compton.
Let's do it. Straight Outta Compton. James, me and you have been sitting here 3 years. We've talked about friends, families, girlfriends. We've talked about pretty much everything there is possible. I don't think we've discussed rap music. What do you feel about rap music? Do you listen to it? Are you a fan of NWA? Kind of let's get into that dialogue.
You know, here's the truth. There's no reason to front in front of anybody. I can't tell you any songs by NWA. The F the Police one, I've heard that.
Yes.
So I know I sound nerdy. Honestly, my first encounters with rap, honestly, was like probably like Eminem. Like that. Yeah. Like Eminem, you know. Yeah. So I'm not, to be honest with you. And then, to be honest with you, even Dr. Dre, I'm not really familiar with it until Eminem.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I knew he produced his work. I knew that, and then yourself, sir?
You know, well, I grew up listening to a lot of different music. Rap was not something I did grow up listening to. Motown, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, things like that. But the first time
DJ Mystic, Popcorn,
I heard rap. Yeah. I mean, I think the first time I heard NWA was F the Police, and I don't think at that age I appreciated it because of what these men were saying. I was just like, I've never heard someone talk like this in music. You know, everything was, you know, love, wine, Italian face. Yeah. You know, everything was pop hits, you know, back at that when I heard this album. And so I got into rap at that point, and, you know, now as I've gotten older, I found a real appreciation for classic rap, you know, Run DMC, Public Enemy, things like that. I'm not a huge NWA fan, but I do have Straight Outta Compton on my iPod. It is one of the most influential albums in rap, let alone music. I mean, the first 3 tracks, we have Straight Outta Compton, F the Police, and Gangsta Gangsta, and I mean, those all 3 are knockout hits. I mean, great music. So, I will say, though, I'm not a huge NWA fan. This wasn't a movie that I was like, needs to be made, but when I heard about it, I was really excited, especially because the cast. And I think this movie is going to be talking a lot about what's going on right now. And I think that's why I'm most excited about this picture. I remember really getting excited once John Singleton signed on to the project, who directed Boys in the Hood, a movie that Ice Cube was actually in. A great American movie, but he ended up dropping out, and F. Gary Gray ended up taking his place, who directed Friday, which was written, created, and acted by Ice Cube. So Ice Cube had a lot of influence in this movie. At CinemaCon, I had the opportunity to I didn't really meet them, but see Dr. Dre and Ice Cube talk about this movie, and that was really insightful too. So I'm really excited for this picture.
Cool. I've heard a lot of good things about it. The only thing negative I've heard about the film, it's very self-serving, because Dr. Dre and Ice Cube are on the producers list, and they are both very active in the community. Specifically, Dr. Dre almost became a billionaire with the selling of Beats to Apple. So, and it makes sense that we're not going to see really anything bad on them.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be very self-serving, but I'm very excited about the movie.
I mean, the fact that Ice Cube has his own son playing this role, I think is really, really exciting.
And looks like him, too.
Looks exactly like him. O'Shea Jackson Jr. And then, I'm not familiar with the other actors who are going to be playing the other members of NWA, but I do know Paul Giamatti's in this. And it's very rare I ever watch something with Paul Giamatti and not enjoy him in it, so I'm also really looking forward to that.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
He was best part.
What happened in that movie? Anyway. How long's the movie? It's a longer.
It's a longer movie. It's 2.5 hours.
All right. Well, let's see if it's a full-on doc, and let's see how it is.
Let's do it.
All right. So we just got that Straight Outta Compton, and yeah, it was really good. I can see why the Rotten Tomatoes score is up as high as it is. If you know nothing about rap, as I know nothing about rap, I think you're going to get a really, really good appreciation for it. I guess we'll start down the line. So the movie was good. God, they make Suge Knight look horrible. But everyone says that Suge Knight is a really bad guy. Yeah. And then just like recently,
as soon as you've seen him introduce the movie, all you hear is, ugh, Suge Knight. You just heard those groans come out of the theater.
Yeah, it's bad.
He has a very bad reputation.
Yeah,
well, I mean, there is video of him online running over someone. So
yeah, and that just happened.
Happened.
And it's kind of funny because like this guy just can't stay out of jail in real life. Anyway, that's besides the point. The movie was good. Big props to NWA. It's there's still racism in 2015, but even back then, obviously, it was a lot worse. And seeing how they were treated and things like that, I'm just gonna take it for what I saw, and I believe it was. I believe it. I really do believe that. Ice Cube was awesome. I didn't know that they had this riff. I didn't know that they were. I knew they were friends, and I didn't know that they had this parting, and then all that stuff. Seeing Tupac Shakur was pretty cool in the movie. That guy looked like him too.
There's a lot of cameos in there, and it's especially if you really are into rap. I mean, there's a lot of people that you'll just hear quick small names, and you're like, oh my god, that's this and this.
Yeah,
it's really
Jimmy
really
Iovine,
serving.
Familiar with the name, producer dude. I really don't have anything really to say. All the actors, no one annoyed me. That was good. I didn't even know Easy had HIV.
Yeah,
didn't know that. Honestly, I don't really have too much to say, other than watch it. This is a good watch. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
there was nothing wrong with it. I liked it.
Well,
I had fun.
I'm sure once I get into some conversation, I'll feel some things. The first thing I want to talk about is, the really, really great thing here to watch is actually the performances. The O'Shea Jackson Jr. really embodies his father here, and you could tell he really cared about this role and really wanted to bring something to it. The gentleman who played Eazy-E and Dre, everyone was really, really good, and I was really surprised by how good the performance was. Paul Giamatti also good.
Because no one's popular.
Yeah, no one's really
awesome.
Has a name.
That's good.
Except obviously Giamatti. But this movie immediately puts you into it, and you already feel for the characters. There are really people that you really kind of want to even though we already know their paths, we're still really interested in seeing where they're going to go. And those few beginning moments when we hear the beginning of beats of songs, and we hear, Eazy-E put on the headphones and sing and go to the mic for the first time. It's things like that are really like, oh my god, like lo and behold, 25, 30 years later, this would be one of the most iconic albums they'd ever make. Straight Outta Compton was their debut album, and they literally just broke barriers with that. I remember watching, VH1 used to have all those listicles shows and whatever, but I remember hearing a lot of different people say, this was a different kind of rap. We were leaving the Run DMC, shoelaces and Adidas, big gold chains era, and going to a place where rappers and people in NWA refer to themselves as, by using the N-word and you cursing and saying things like F the police. You fast forward and see how many other rappers ended up confronting the police through their music as well. And it's pretty crazy, especially because of when Ice Cube ended up singing that song and how big of a time that was. And great movies, I was always told that great movies say something about the time that they take place in, and something they say about what's going on now. And this movie literally says volumes about what's going on right now. I mean, it is pretty crazy. Like you said, 2015, 20, 30 years later, there is still a separation between police and people. And, regardless if you think that's right or which side you want to, if you want to pick a side, if you think that's right, it is here. It is real. It is something that is happening. And I think one of the most breathtaking moments I've seen this year comes from one of the big riot scenes, and it's when we have a Blood in a Crip who tie their bandanas together and walk towards the police during a riot. And your first thought is, these people are gangsters and all this stuff, but I don't think that's kind of the message they were going for. They were talking that, no matter who you are, enemy or friend, we all need to kind of stick together to fight this force. And I'm not saying the police are obviously this movie has a very specific,
answer.
Yeah, a perspective on police, but you can't. I mean, it's in the history books. You could go back and look at all these things, and these men found a way to address that. And I find it also interesting in this movie that they bring up the argument that actually it was a cop that says rap isn't art. And these are the men that really could absolutely show you that rap is art. I mean, they were calling it, I'm just showing them where they came from, who they are. And rap has changed, obviously. Rap's not necessarily the exact same, though you could find rappers who, I don't want to really get into all that, but these guys were definitely the pioneers of that. And they really speak volumes of that. And so the message and the theme of this movie is what really kind of struck home for me. As far as criticisms, I think Mr. Gray really got into the party sequences and a few of these, kind of fun time sequences that were enjoyable. But when you're clocking at 2.5 hours, I think you're kind of stretching it. And I think we could have cut about 20, 30 minutes out and made this a solid, tight film, 2 hours. But everything was enjoyable. I mean, it was funny. I found myself laughing a lot. There were some really intense moments. The whole Eazy-E sequence when he finds out he has HIV is really, really powerful because Eazy was not only, one of the first, actually the first rapper, I believe, in the White House. A lot of people don't remember that.
But I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there's always, and would go on to be a person who kind of really spoke out about AIDS, and at the end you kind of hear that letter. So it's really, really powerful stuff all around, and you kind of look and you're like amazed to see what Eazy-E did and what Ice Cube and Dre are continuing to do. So it's pretty amazing to see where they all go. I definitely understand the criticism of it being very self-serving, because even Dre going to Death Row Records, teaming up with Suge, all that's just kind of like, oh well, yeah, Suge was, a bastard, but Dr. Dre was very on the good side of everything, and I'm sure he, obviously Dre did leave and just ended up doing Aftermath and going on to do beats, but there was obviously wrong on all ends here. Ice Cube, in the same sense, Ice Cube, they show Ice Cube doing some pretty wrong things at an office, which is really, really like, oh my god, very taken aback, because people nowadays know Ice Cube from Ride Along and Friday and being more of the goofy, funny guy from 22 Jump Street. They don't really remember that hardcore rapper that was once upon a time had a message.
He's hilarious.
He is hilarious. He's very funny. He's actually a really, really great actor, a great writer. And I don't think he gets enough credit sometimes. But this is a really great movie to kind of see where rap, the real foundation rap. If you're a person who loves rap, this is a movie to see. If you're someone who likes great performances and a great theme about, what's going on right now, it's a great movie. I was really, really happy with it. Definitely one of the year's best.
Yeah, fun movie.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun, too. I thought this movie was going to be definitely more on the drama, dreary side. But it's not. There's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of fun. But there is a lot of ups and downs, and you go through that with these characters, which make it really exciting.
Yeah, not a movie I'm going to be able to. I don't see myself watching it again in the theater.
But in the theater, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see myself doing that, but I recommend watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
ChasingCinema.com/
Straight Outta Compton.
That way you can get the full-on review written by
myself,
Jacob Barr,
Tiranno.
By the way, FYI, little something. If you haven't seen our review for The Man from U.N.C.L.E. with Superman himself, Mr. Henry Cavill, it's already online. Just click on videos and
check it out.
You're already good to go.
You click right here.
And it's already good to go. Hope you had that annotation.
I do, of course.
Holla back. All right, and also next week, 7 days.
American Ultra. Jesse Eisenberg.
Lex Luthor himself.
Stewart.
Twilight herself.
Yes. She was on Jimmy Fallon. The Tonight Show, and Jimmy Astor, he goes, you get criticized a lot for not smiling, and that was a really, really great, funny thing about her not smiling. She says she smiles a lot in this movie. So, I mean, I think this idea is pretty funny. Basically you have a Bourne movie, the Bourne Identity with a stoner. A stoner who works at 7-Eleven, opposed to Matt Damon, who's just, all ready for it. So I'm excited to kind of see where that movie goes. Hopefully it's good.
What's the other movie other than American Ultra?
There's Hitman 47.
That's what I'll be watching.
Really?
Yeah.
And then I believe Sinister 2.
Yeah, I'll be watching Hitman 47.
Okay, well, we'll have to see. Hitman, a reboot, I guess you could kind of say.
No Jason.
No.
Well, already not going to be as good.
Was it Jason?
Statham.
No, he wasn't.
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. That's
Timothy.
I did it again.
Timothy Oliphant.
Yes, thank you.
Played,
Jesus, the original. Yeah.
I was talking to
Hitman
somebody about Hitman,
the video game,
and I couldn't remember. I was like, wait, was there another Hitman movie? And I could not remember.
There was. Yeah.
There was, and it was Timothy Oliphant, but I could, the life of me, not remember a thing about it. So, I don't know. I think I might be reviewing American Ultra, but I'll be interested to hear what you have to say.
I'm sure you watch both.
Well, it depends if Hitman 47 wants to invite me to their movie.
Oh, God. Not a good sign already.
Yeah, so we'll see.
All right, we'll be back, guys. 7 days. Appreciate everybody. And ChasingCinema.com for anyone that does not know.
Is the Film Lovers website.
By the way.